going on, guys? Black Scout Survival, and thanks for tuning in. Obviously, the threat at hand is Hurricane Ian. Had anybody in the path of that? So I'd like to do a refresher on hurricane survival tips. Also, show you some footage that I've gotten from the area, and we'll start off. I'll show you what they're saying about it real quick.
Moved ashore, made landfall earlier today. It's a powerful Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale. As it moves inland, you'll see the eye start to diminish, but don't let that fool you. It will still pack a formidable punch as it moves across the state of Florida along the I-4 corridor over the next couple of days. Look at the radar imagery. You can see where it made landfall here in and around so Naples is down here, so just north of Naples, just north of Fort Myers in the Punta Gorda area, and that's where we got the strongest flow of winds and unfortunately got that storm surge that we were predicting. This is an instrument that is measuring the height of the ocean, and look how rapidly it is rising, and this is going to continue as those winds continue to pile the water into those enclosed areas. And this is why storm surge is so dangerous, is because the water rise is so quick. But the story I really want to start hounding now is the flooding potential. The flooding potential along the I-4 corridor of Florida. You're not going to want to be driving around tomorrow because the roads could be flooded.
So what we're looking at is, up to Cat 4, winds 140 miles per hour as it approached Florida. They forecast or predicts that it will retain strength until landfall. Obviously, it'll hit the whole Gulf Coast from Naples to Sarasota. That is the highest risk of a devastating storm surge. U.S. Air Force hurricane hunters confirmed Ian gained strength over the Gulf of Mexico after battering Cuba and left the country with their electrical grid down. So the entire island does not have power. Miami Hurricane Center is urging people to evacuate the danger zone if they can. More than 2.5 million people were under mandatory evacuation orders, but the law, they can't force that. I've got some footage here I'm going to go through showing you just how wild this looks so far. That's one shot, just these winds. I mean, check this out. I mean, that looks like a helo is like trying to land. And the flooding the guy was talking about. I mean, look at this, cars under. And I got some pretty wild ones like this right here inside these stairwells here. Son of man, child of God, says he keeps missing, but he finally caught alive. Well, welcome, brother. How do you join the tribe? You go hit the link down below that says join the tribe in the description. So this is the other thing, man. Like, you have to be your own. That's the water. I mean, look at this. This is the fire department. They're flooded. People, I don't think realize just how bad the floods are. And then you got, sharks in the streets, guys. That's the literal shark right there in the street. So then you got that to work. And there's something called a movie called Sharknado or something like that. God. This dude's going in his house. This is his house. So flooding, very, very dangerous, guys. So, obviously with hurricanes and any natural disasters, it places a large amount of people in danger, and usually a lot of unprepared people. And so, especially down this coast, hurricanes are prevalent. I've lived in them my entire life. I actually remember I was in the Marine Corps. I'd come home when Bonnie hit, and I had to drive, and usually it took me about 3.5 hours to drive from home to Camp Lejeune. and it took me like 9 hours to drive. And so like I would go home quite a bit when I could, and like for well over 2 months, the roads were flooded where I could not get out of North Carolina. Like I remember I was driving to try to like, and this was before GPS and cell phones and things. I was actually working off of a map. And so I know kids can't do that anymore, but I was working off of a map, and there was this stretch of road that went around a curve, and it looked like it was, water, but it looked like it was like maybe, just enough to cover the road. And I started driving in it, and the water got up to my mid door, like middle of my door, and like my steering lot, and I had to reverse and like let it drain out before so I could drive my car. So the flooding is a very dangerous thing, like the guy said, and obviously don't forget about the high winds, and stuff like that that could sling debris. If you got stuff outside, you may never see it again. Um, if you remember, like Hurricane Sandy back a few years back, it left many that didn't evacuate without power and stranded from rescue personnel, or with the ability to leave for quite a while. Like rescue personnel couldn't get to them, and they were not able to get food, water. People were running out of things, and so I would obviously encourage you, if you can evacuate areas. Kind of like if you're in a, you don't want to stay on the X like in a gunfight. Like you don't want to stay like in shooting range. Like you want to get out of range. Like so leave the threat. That's rule number one in survival. So if you can know how, get out of there, and it's important for you to know if your dwelling is is in a flood area that leaves you to decide whether to evacuate. I think that's a pretty easy answer. Um, but if you decide to leave, to protect yourself and your family, protecting your home is your next step. Obviously, securing outdoor furniture, bringing stuff inside. Um, you know, cover your windows with storm shutters, marine plywood, at least 5/8 inch thick. Um, FEMA suggests, secure your roof to the frame structure to prevent damage, and then reinforce your garage door with plywood is also not a bad idea. If you're in a high-rise building and cannot leave, get below the 10th floor. The other thing is that a buddy of mine, an actor friend, he was in, what was it? What hurricane was it? In Miami. He was stuck in a building and couldn't get out because the bottom floor had flooded. And for that, like you need, like if I were to live in a high-rise apartment, which I have before, and I had rappel equipment, and so have a rappel equipment. I'm going to do a deal on these at the end of in the end of the show, so stay tuned, and we'll put a deal on these. These are Black Scout Carabiner and rappel set that we sell. Having rappel equipment, guys, like whenever I lived in a high-rise apartment, I was up pretty high, and this is back when I was just out of the Marines in college. I had rappel equipment in case I had to get out, So, but you don't have to be a prepper to be prepared, guys. Having an emergency kit or bug out bag. I know a lot of people don't like the term bug out bag because it makes them sound, corny, but it is what it is, But it's relatively easy first step to take, to keep yourself alive. And this goes for a lot of different scenarios. It's not always the zombie apocalypse type stuff. It's stuff like this that can kill you and take you completely out of the game, right? Stocking provisions at your house can be easy and affordable and something you can do over time. Obviously, you guys down in Ian right now, it's too late in the game. You waited too long if you weren't already prepared. But there's obviously cost-effective ways to do this, and you can build a bargain bug-out bag. Truthfully, water's a critical component for all living things, right? And having at least, I would say, 5 days of water. I think the Red Cross says 5 days, guys. After seeing what happened at Sandy, Hurricane Sandy, people were stuck for like 5 days. So having at least 5 days, and usually a person will drink or need a gallon of water a day. And that's, get a gallon of water for drinking as well as sanitation and or cooking, right? A lot of people forget those components. You're going to be sitting in place typically, so you're sheltering in place. You're going to be, spending a bunch of energy and stuff like that. Every time you talk about like food or water, people think they're like out freaking running a marathon or something. Your survival's usually sitting in place. So you're not, spending a bunch of calories and a bunch of fluids. But it's also good, to have that gallon, ready and available. A lot of people say, well, I've got purification tablets. Well, you really have to hunt water whenever it's hitting the fan. Okay. So, have a good method to also purify water. That could be water purification tablets, a steri pen, unscented bleach, or effective treatments for water. If you're sheltering in place, fill your bathtubs with water, and you can use this water for, sanitation, obviously, or pets, right? Or just use it to flush the toilet with, you know. Um, Food, we're gonna go over food, and this is the reason why I work with Nutrient Survival. One, I love their food. I actually was a customer of theirs. It's not like, oh, hey, let's make some money together. That's not what this is about. This is about something I like, and I like to promote things I like because they're very protein dense foods, nutrient dense, and Nutrient Survival, nutrient packed, vitamin packed. But anyway, I really wanted to work with them because of this bucket system, because it's a grab and go container. So we can keep it in the pantry, keep it, in your house, a grab and go and make it a kit. And there's a few things about this. One, it's non-perishable. You want non-perishable foods. People have MREs. That we've got the NRE in here. But you want to look at maybe things like granola and peanut butter. A lot of people say peanut butter dries you out, obviously. Dried cereals, canned foods, meats, vegetables, these fruits, these sort of things, even though those are going to tank your estrogen because the estrogen producing chemicals in the cans. But that's another topic for another day. But these are good because they don't require cooking. That's the other reason why some of these items that I put in this kit or decided to put in this kit are not, it's not necessary to have to cook, like the protein shake, the creamy shake meal, as well as the bars. So you don't always have to cook. Now, I do think you should have things that you should be able to heat up and eat, because obviously morale, you don't want to be eating, stuff that's not hot. Morale over time is going to wear you down. There's nothing like being, when we're out in the field, being able to heat up some food. Obviously, there would be times, weeks that I would not eat hot food. It would be cold or whatever. But whenever you got a warm meal, it definitely helped morale. And you got to be thinking, it's cool to be a tough guy. You can beat your chest to whatever, but also if you have family members, they may not be so tough or so used to those type of situations, right? So you got to think about them. But this is also important because you may be without electricity. And to cook something, you have to use fuel, and that fuel could be real fuel, alcohol stove, it could be a log, but it requires fuel. Right? Fuel is a consumable item. So you may want things that you don't have to use fuel for, right? So less, fire obviously in a house is dangerous. We saw people burning down their houses in the Texas snowstorm, if you recall that. But also when you're thinking about your food items, think about your children and your pets. Okay. But I'm going to talk more about this bucket, but that's this bucket's at Nutrient Survival. I'll go ahead and put the banner up so you can see it real quick. Nutrient Survival, use Black Scout 10. You can buy anything there, and use that code. So the other thing is always have an IFAK within your reach, because you may get injured, right? And if you don't get one ASAP, right? We sell them. A lot of people sell them, but you can always be certain that medical professionals, you cannot always be sure that medical professionals will be able to respond to you. So you have to be your own hero at times, right? Thanks, Umbra. Umbra saying to join the tribe. Link up. This is a great time. Natural disasters being part of our tribe. Remind me at the end. We'll talk about the tribe a little bit too. Great time to have a network of people. Get to evacuate. We got people in our tribe. If you need to, like if you're in Florida, we got people that can open up their homes to you, so you can, or rental properties or whatever. You can get out of Dodge. You have somewhere to stay, so you don't have to go to the FEMA camp, right? Like Katrina, where your family's going to get raped and robbed. So it's important to have a network. But anyway, in your medical kit, you want to have things like quick clot tourniquets, stuff like that. Things that stop serious bleeding. Obviously, you don't want to have to do that, but it is good. But also think about medications, right? And having a plentiful supply of life necessary medications. Also, think about baby wipes. Great morale booster. Anybody in the military, I've taken many baby wipe showers for a month at a time. It couldn't take a shower, so you're wiping yourself down with baby wipes. But you could also get a portable shower, easy thing to buy. But in this medical thing, make sure you also include kids again. This may be diapers, stuff like that, hygiene gear. Think about these sort of things. But if you want to look at like a disaster supply kit, if you want to call it that instead of a bug out bag, a disaster supply kit, let's talk about some items that would be good to be in there. Obviously, a flashlight with batteries. It gets dark every single day, right? Like our BSS 5 here. Look, I own a survival company, so we this is what we do. So you're seeing a lot of our products. That's why, because this is what we do. So Black Scout flashlight can be used for a weapon, but it also is rechargeable, right? So you can use a solar panel, you can use a battery pack and recharge it, right? It also will use batteries placed together. I've got a video on that. Then you want to think about sleeping bags. It may be even just emergency blankets, like we sell. This is something great, survival bivy right here to put in the kit, right? The flashlight, you could get, your flashlight, bivy, and place them in the nutrient survival box, because that's what I do. I've got kits like this made up so they're grab and go, ready to go. Okay. A multi-tool, right? You may have to use the multi-tool to turn off water or whatever to your house, line bust, things like that, turn off the gas. Having a multi-tool is a good thing to have in an urban area. Okay. Work gloves and duct tape. You may have to move stuff, you may have to repair stuff, put duct tape to put stuff down, whatever, but gloves to protect your hands. You don't want to create any more wounds than necessary, or that you don't want, right? Cell phone chargers, the battery pack, something you can charge your phone, that you don't have to rely on electricity because you may not have it. Sandy didn't have it for 14 days or something crazy like that. That way you have battery packs, and also having a good solar charger. Goal Zero is a great one. That's the one I use. And it has its own little battery pack there. So it has stored energy. You can leave that sucker outside all day, charging your devices, flashlights, things like that. That's why I designed that flashlight that way, so it can be used with a solar charger that way. So definitely in the apocalypse, you have a flashlight because the sun is always out, right? Noaa weather radio. I wish I had gotten mine. I have a little one, but I have it in one of these boxes here. Grab and go. Again, little Noaa hand wine. It also has a charger on or stuff like that. I can't remember the brand. It's Midland. I think it is Midland brand. Obviously, food, water, and water purification methods. You can put tabs in here in your bucket. If you don't want to buy our kit and want to make your own, that's fine too. You can go get just like a bucket, a tub, and put all these things in, put cans in, put, survival items, stuff like that. Cigarette lighter. You don't want to have to be rubbing sticks in the middle of a hurricane, right? Cigarette lighter, like candles, emergency candles, are good to have, good to put in a bucket. And, you just have to be careful not to catch your house on fire. Because again, people in the Texas snowstorm was catching their homes on fire with candles. Okay. But having a lighter, a way to quickly get fire. I've already talked about first aid kit, obviously, and just put little bandages and things like that, Neosporin, the basic stuff. Your kid, gets nicked on a finger or something like that. Hygiene, already discussed that. Just think about all the hygiene items that you could, need and stuff like that. Handgun, self-defense, weapons, firearms. Katrina, we saw criminal opportunists, right? They take advantage of these situations. You need to have a way to defend your family. So firearms, okay? Always, in every situation, you need a firearm, okay, period. That's part of a survival kit. Remember that. You're hiking out in the woods, firearm, okay? A buddy of mine, this is probably another story for another day, but a good friend of mine, he was on the AT trail with some of his buddies. This dude come up, acting real weird, hung around him for a little bit. They pretty much told him to leave, and he didn't want to leave, or he left and then came back while they were sleeping. My buddies had ARs with them. They whipped him out, scared the guy. Turns out that guy was the AT killer, Appalachian Trail killer. Look him up, because they went and notified the the ranger, whatever they are there, and they went and got the guy. Turns out he was the serial killer on the AT Trail. So firearm all the time. Maps, obviously, like I said, the situation I was in, we didn't have cell phones or GPS at that point in time. This was 1999. So, but I mean, they did have much. Had to be rich to have them, right? Not some young Lance Corporal. But anyway, maps, right? Because you may not have cell service, may die, your phone may die, whatever it is. Have maps and have evac routes planned. And know how to read a map. If you guys want me to do a video, I don't know if that's a skill that everybody knows these days, but if it's not, if you need to know how to read a road map, I can teach you how to do that in a very simple way. Okay. I learned from truckers. They taught me how to do it a long time ago. So it's good. But you should stock up on these 6 basic, item categories, which is home, for your home, which is water, food, first aid supplies, clothing and bedding, tools, and emergency supplies. Right, stock up on these things and have them in there. Maybe throw a whistle in there. Just think about basic survival things too, like the survival kit we sell. This up there, the little tent. Throw that in there. That's a whole survival kit in a small package. Then you got your food. With that thing has water purification tablets in there with a bag, fire making stuff. So throw it in there. Blanket. Think about these sort of things. And if you make your own stuff, you can do your own. Just copy the model of what I'm saying. But you can have it in an easy to carry container. And you guys that already have one of these, you're ahead of the game, right? You bought the BSS kit, you're ahead of the game. But have it all together. Maybe have your maps in there and stuff like that. You could even use a backpack, obviously, duffel bag, whatever, Tupperware container, whatever you got. But other thing I want to talk about is comms and evac, right? Comms was one of the most important thing that we used in the military for operations, right? Understand that your cell phone may not work in a time of need. Having radios are great, ham radios and stuff like that. But this has happened to me numerous times where tower overloads. Like I've been in disaster situations where there's been a tower overload and I can't make a phone call. So I've actually even been stuck in a traffic and a vehicle pile up where there's the tower's overloaded and I can't get a phone call out. But what you can usually do is text, right? So texting most of the time will go through even when calls don't, but make sure your family and friends, I think most all do, but have texting application on their phones. I know a lot of old folks that they don't even know how to text. So at least have people you can get a hold of, right? But plan your evac location is super important. And sorry, I was reading the comment here. But getting an early start because of traffic delays to bypass that, knowing how to bypass it, map, again, you can find shortcuts and things like that, but not waiting until the last minute until you're in a traffic jam or, you can't get gas, but prior to evacuating, ensure you bring all the things of value and importance to you with you because like Katrina, they were looting homes. So develop a plan also for your pet. If whatever you're doing with your pet, I would really encourage you not to go to a shelter just because like the horror stories that came from Katrina. I'm sure some of my followers may know or be from that area during that time and can tell you about it. If you do, can you just put some info in the comments? The people I know that was down there, working through that stuff, horror stories, right? But gas may become short because the onslaught of evacuees, people panic buying, these sort of things. So make sure you fill your tank, and go ahead and map those out on your route where you're going to fill your tank. Back in the day, like I said, whenever I would drive freaking across the country with just a map, I would mark out where I was going to stop. Like I would plan the route, just like a military operation. Boom, I'd plan it. People don't do that anymore. They just drive and just, they wind up in a situation even without a disaster. So, I just want to do these, this refresher, guys, and get a kit together. I mean, if you're not even in this area and you don't have a kit, just go ahead and get some kind of kit together, guys. Obviously, we sell a lot of this stuff because this is my life. Like I've dedicated my life to this survival and preparedness, defensive type stuff. Literally, this is what I live for. And so I didn't do this to make money. I did this because this is my passion. And so obviously kits that I use, like anything that I sell is something I personally use, right? I don't sell anything I don't use. So, and anybody I partner with is only stuff that I use, right? And you can take that to the bank. I wanted to show you, yeah, money, cash. I'm glad you said that because yeah, it's probably going to hit where I'm at too, like flooding and water. Somebody's asking where I'm at. I'm probably going to get some. I'm probably going to get some drama. I usually do, right? Power will go out or something like that. But cash, having cash, because a lot of times you can't use your card. I was actually driving. I can't remember what hurricane it was, but I was driving, and I had to go somewhere for something. But like people were, the card machines were down. Right. So you had to use cash. I always keep cash on me anyway. And a pistol, just so you know, don't run up. But cash to spend, get gas and stuff with. So you never know. I mean, I was on a trip one time and literally it was for Christmas. I was up in Maryland and literally my debit card, I didn't even have my credit card with me. My debit card had been hijacked to buy plane tickets in the Philippines. And so I had to call and immediately, and they cut it off. And so I didn't have a card. So, but luckily I had enough cash to get home. Always have cash on you. I know a lot of people don't do that. It's just smart, right? I do want to show two things that's pretty wild. That's, not preparedness, I guess, per se, but pretty much to go along with the politics, mainstream media, stuff like that. I wanted to show you first Don Lemon trying to push this climate change. Now you're going to notice media is going to be pushing this climate change ordeal drastically going forward. It's the new COVID. Okay, you're going to see it as it's affecting people's lives, or they're going to be having heart attacks. They're blaming everything on climate change. Now he's asking the same guy, the gentleman that I showed at the beginning from the NIH or whatever, and he's questioning him about climate change. And that guy pretty much blows him off, and then Don Lemon gets mad. Check this out.
Climate change at a later time. I want to focus on the here and.
Sorry, let me rewind it.
Can you tell us what this is and what effect the climate change has on this phenomenon?
Well, we can come back and talk about climate change at a later time. I want to focus on the here and now. We think the rapid intensification is probably almost done. There could be a little bit more intensification as it's still over the warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico, but I don't think we're going to get any more rapid intensification. If you look here, you can actually see, pretty interesting for your viewers, you can actually see a second eye wall forming around the inner eye wall, and that's basically the second eye wall has overtaken the original eye wall, and that should arrest development.
So listen, I'm just trying to get that. You said you want to talk about climate change, but what effect does climate change have on this phenomenon that is happening now? Because it seems these storms are intensifying. That's the question here.
I don't think you can link climate change to any one event.
Okay.
On the whole, on the cumulative, climate change may be making storms worse, but to link it to any one event, I would caution against that.
Okay. Well, listen, I grew up there, and these storms are intensifying. Something is causing them to intensify.
Don Lemon is a freaking joke, dude. People, yeah, like dude said, people have been dunking on Don Lemon. Whenever he brought up the racial thing the other day to that British lady, and she just slammed him. He's an idiot. But anyway, he's like arguing with the scientists. Well, I used to live there. I know something. Okay, shut up. Anyway, so then they try to attack DeSantis, right? Check this out, this clip.
Criswell said today that she acknowledged concerns that Florida, as was said, lacks response to the storm so far, and that
Whoa. Give me a break. That is nonsense. Stop politicizing, okay? Stop it. We declared a state of emergency when this thing wasn't even formed. We've had people in here, you've had counties doing, they've done a lot of hard work, and honestly, you're trying to attack me, I get, but like you're attacking these other people who've worked very hard, and so that's just totally false. I don't think we've ever, certainly since I've been governor, declared a state of emergency this early. We made sure that we were very inclusive with it. We said that there was a lot of uncertainty, and we've worked to make sure the preparations that have been done and all the stuff, you talk to the people at the.
You know what's sad though is that, like, DeSantis, you can tell he's a leader, man. You know, he's a leader, and the fact is like he's like, you guys are, you know, trying to attack me, but you're saying these people aren't, you know, putting it, they're probably ain't been asleep, hadn't been home, right, trying to get prepared for what's coming. The media is just such garbage. They really are. But good for that dude, man. I love DeSantis. He's a good man. Real quick, just you know, just I always like to do something special for you guys. I appreciate you because not a lot of viewers are on tonight. They must not care about the hurricane. But anyway, because what I was talking about, we have these Black Scout D-ring. These are climbing rated D-ring and Descender 8s. They're, you know, our stuff on it. They're tactical, the tactical version. It's a locking screw gate carabiner, right? So you can lock it up. And you buy one of these. It comes in a set, by the way. It comes these two together. If you buy one of these, you get one of our blankets for free. No code needed. Everybody always, when we do these deals, are like, how do I get my stuff? They're emailing stuff. No code needed. If you buy it, you immediately get it for free. My people will pack it in the package for you. Our blanket it's a bivy, so it's like a sleeping bag, but it reflects 90% of your body heat, keep water off you. It's bright orange for being rescued in case, you know, you're freaking in a hurricane. It also has a survival whistle. It's like 120. Don't quote me because it's on the website, but it's got a whistle here attached. You got a whistle and this, so in case you got to rappel out of a apartment building or something, or down a cliff, who knows. And you need to stay warm and dry. That's going on until Friday. You'll get that if you order the Rescue 8 Descender kit on the website, blackscoutsurvival.com. Anyhow, guys, I hope you enjoyed this refresher. I feel like we needed to do it just to talk about it. All of us, I need to go through my gear as well. I've been even saying that, like my vehicle bag and stuff like that. You know, you have to do an inventory, have to recheck, replace, and all this kind of stuff. It's part of the lifestyle you have to do. You have to make sure your family's kits are good. Make sure your kits are good. I like grab and go kits because at the moment's notice, I can grab things and go. But anyhow, guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. Go get a Rescue 8 Descender and a free bag with it until Friday. And as always, comment, let me know your thoughts. And anybody that's in that, man, we'll be praying for you guys to make sure you're safe. Hopefully you got out of there, but your property's safe. We'll be praying for that as well. Comment below, let me know your thoughts, and we fight the algorithm. You know, the comments are always trying to hurt us. So, you know, guys, remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous. Hurricanes are out there. Good night.